Hello everyone, welcome back to another art time lapse. Today I am doing a bento box. That's right, I love eating bento boxes. I don't make bento boxes. It's definitely a lot more work than it cuts out to be. But I certainly love the artistry and the time that people spend to do it. I think the first time I saw a bento box was something that was in an anime cartoon, and I've always kind of wanted something like that, like for lunch that I would get from my mom. But I know how busy she is and working a job and also like taking care of two kids, so I never really asked. And like when I got older, I just like certainly appreciate the artistry of it, but also the amount of time that it takes to put a bento box together. And I was like, I don't think this is worth my time at this point. But anyways, so I thought it would be nice and fun to do a bento box. I don't know if I'll actually do a bento box for my kids, to be honest, because like it is certainly a lot of time. But like I think maybe the ingredients and the food, if they can savor, enjoy it as it is ready and hot and steaming, rather than me kind of positioning everything to look really pretty, might be something that will enjoy more. I wonder if this is something that's more normal in Asia. Please comment below. I actually don't know if bento boxes, like decorated bento boxes, is like norm in Asia for a lot of mommies to do. But anyways, the one that I'm doing right now, it is a Totoro theme one, and you know how much I love Studio Ghibli, so this is fan art inspired by that particular art studio. So here I am doing it on a Stonehenge hot press paper that is 8" by 8". So you can see I have some yummy foods here. Some biscuits, some red bean biscuits, some dumplings, and then I think I'll put in some nigiri and then some rice balls. I think it's a really big lunch, so or maybe it's like a miniature version of all these different things, but I just thought it would be so fun to put these pieces together and have Totoro sit in the middle. So here I am using the finest art brush that I have. I think it's a quarter size. So you can see that I started off with some like light brown color, and then now I'm adding in some light greens and blues and adding in shadows layer by layer, of course waiting for the previous layer to dry before adding in the next layer. But yeah, like I think adding these layers slowly, letting the previous layer dry and making sure that like you can see the previous layer really makes a difference and makes the piece more interesting rather than the one-dimensional, like the one solid color. I think over time as I am painting, I realize that this is part of my art style. It's not super refined with like clear cut edges, but something that is like there are blurred lines in between. There are blended colors, things that are not exactly true to just one solid color. I kind of like the idea of this kind of messy, disorganized art. I'm still finding the words to describe what I'm doing. I must say words and using wording is not my forte, which is why I do a lot of I love doing art. I love conveying my stories and my messages through art. This YouTube channel is a means for me to try and communicate my thoughts, my process, and my story behind my artwork, because I find that when I'm at conventions and shows or markets, like I just don't really have the opportunity or the time to kind of showcase and talk about it with the audience. So I feel like that's a miss. So hopefully these YouTube videos will make it easier for people to understand my process, and in case they are curious. And part of it is more documentation as well, for me to know and remember like what was I thinking when I drew this piece, and like kind of watch myself grow as an artist. I also love doing art time lapses because I love how going from a blank piece of paper to the final product, people can see that like how the work is put in. I must say it didn't come naturally. It does come with lots of practice before you're kind of more comfortable with painting. And for some people, like, we're not comfortable showing our process because I think for most part, a lot of us have this imposter syndrome that we are insecure about whether we're good at our work, and you can't really showcase your work until you're good at it. Which, if there's one thing I would tell to my younger self, if I was to kind of go through my artist journey again, is to like not worry so much about artwork being perfect, but like enjoying the process more, and like showcase and talk about your artwork more. Put yourself out there in uncomfortable situation so that you can gain these new experiences. So here you can see I'm adding in a little bit of shadow for the lettuce. And then here you can see my Totoro character kind of slowly coming out. I honestly had a lot of fun debating about like what characters, what kind of food I want to add onto my bento box, because there's so many options. I initially did my research by looking through Pinterest to see like what are some bento boxes out there, and there are so many and so cute. And like at the end I was thinking like, what would I like to eat? What would I find joy in painting? Yeah, that's kind of like my new motto nowadays. Like, what do I find joy in painting, rather than just like what do I think people would like, which is something that I previously had focused a lot on. I would draw solely things that I think would sell, people would like, and people would say, oh, that's a really beautiful piece of artwork. Lately I've been veering away toward pieces that brings me joy, that I wouldn't mind showcasing, but like also enjoying the process. Like for this piece, like I don't actually know what I'm gonna do with it. Like I don't know if I'm gonna sell it as a print, do a sticker or a pin. Like it's more like, oh, I just want to do it for the sake of doing art, which I think it's something I should do more often. Here I'm painting in Totoro. You can see I'm not using like a straight black or gray, but I'm actually using this olive color, but I'm dulling it down a little bit. I think that this color scheme works well with the rest of the piece, because if something is like really stark black contrast, the Totoro would definitely stand out, but it just doesn't blend well as a piece as a whole. So here I'm just leaving space for the eyes. Rather than adding white gouache on top afterwards, I find that if I leave space for some of those lighter areas, the piece does come out a little bit nicer and more organic. Yeah, if you like my commentary on these pieces, I would love to know and get some feedback on how I can improve on these types of videos. I know I recently started adding commentary on my pieces a couple months ago, and I'm not sure if this is the right way to go. I don't know if people are interested, but I would love to get some feedback. Sometimes I feel like I'm doing these YouTube videos and just sending them out into the great internet world, but I don't even know if people watch it. But at the end of the day, I guess I shouldn't focus too much on like view counts or if people even watch it. It's just putting it out there, showing my work. It's something kind of a mantra I heard from Austin Kleon, which is like an artist who published several different books, and one of the books is about showing your work and like how to steal from an artist. I thought that there were like really quick reads, great inspirations. So if you're ever interested in it, highly recommend it. The book itself was very easy to read, but I think I prefer audiobooks lately because it's easier that I can paint and also listen or during my transit. So that's also available in audiobook form. I think there's like 3 books in the series, but like you don't necessarily have to read it in a particular order, but highly recommended. Austin Kleon, Kleon is the name of the artist. It's How to Steal Like an Artist and Showing Your Work. So that is part of the inspiration for this channel, about explaining to everybody like, how did I get to where I am? How do I paint my piece from scratch? How do I put together my website? Because I'm sure that there are these similar questions for other artists as well. And now that we have access to internet and sharing our work and sharing our words so easily, why not make it easier for everybody, so that not everybody have to invent the wheel from scratch, right? I think would have appreciated. I came from like an era where YouTube didn't come about till I was a little bit older, and I didn't get a chance to really fully indulge in it, because I think if I had exposure to it earlier, maybe I would have looked up to other artists and watched their process a little bit more. So a lot of this is more self-discovery, but like at the same time, I know that there is a lot of pressure from social media, so I'm very lucky to not grow up in an era maybe YouTube and all these ways, because all these different types of exposure to these means to learn, because I think that will influence my maybe confidence. Maybe I'll feel really insecure about my artwork, or maybe I'll just end up consuming a lot of videos and not actually doing any art itself. So here I'm adding in my sashimi on top of the rice. I think I'll do a salmon and maybe some tuna pieces, because I love my Japanese food so much, and it brings me so much joy to paint these pieces. And this punch of red is just looking so glorious on the piece. I love how it's adding a little bit of highlight, because right now the colors are looking a little bit bland, which is okay, because it always looks a little bit boring in the beginning until you add on the highlights. So here, maybe I'll add in some Totoro. I'm salivating as I'm painting this. I don't know, it's because I just talking about food makes me really excited. So yeah, I hope you're enjoying this art time lapse so far. Coming up, I hope to do a couple of more fan art pieces, but if you have any ideas, suggestions for pieces that you would like to see more of, or perhaps like want me to explain a little bit my process or how I do certain things, I would love to hear your comment below. And that's for now. I'll let you enjoy the rest of the art time lapse, and have a wonderful day. Stay safe and stay creative, everyone.